What's going on, creators? Yeah, just want to get on here and bring everybody back to now. Appreciate y'all being here and vibing with me for a bit. Yeah, today I'd like to kind of share kind of an update of what's going on with the cafe and the Handyman Business. I just had a kind of a new hire that I added to the team. Kind of came together after I painted that building, and basically through connecting with some of the people in the building during this meeting, it led to getting an introduction to this kid. And yeah, long story short, I interviewed him yesterday, and yeah, he's going to start in a couple weeks, and so hopefully, that ends up paying off. I guess it's kind of a gamble. It's kind of stirring up some resistance and some things I'm kind of dealing with at the moment because it's new and different, and with that. Yeah, I also have like a $2,000 sign-on bonus commitment, that takes effect in 90 days, and so really hoping that in my town there's kind of this weird issue going on at the moment where it's like kind of a labor shortage. It's like everybody in town is hiring, and like people just aren't motivated to work, and so I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I actually feel like that's a great thing. As somebody who sees this issue as something that can be solved. For the people that do want to go do things, having an opportunity to make that happen, I feel like it's going to really contribute a lot to financing the cafe, and so I'm really hopeful and optimistic on that. I'll make sure to keep you guys updated, but but now that kind of problem has now resolved itself, I guess it's on to the next issue, which is all right. Now I still got 3 weeks until he starts, and my phone is like ringing relentlessly. So I might end up still looking for some more help. I had another guy, which is my stepdaughter's boyfriend, express some interest, and so might be able to put him to work at least temporarily if that's what he wants to do. We're kind of just playing it by ear at the moment. Having lots of abundant opportunity, in just in my town, and going to really try to make the most of that, and not to get overwhelmed and stressed, because that's the other end of it, because there's like when you hit these new experiences and new levels and these new, you don't know what, you're in the unknown basically. There's two ways that you can constantly react. One is just to react out of fear and kind of just survival mode, and we're going to do that to describe that state of mind. But then you can also choose the voice of peace, and really kind of enjoy the flow. And so that's kind of the process I'm kind of going with, choosing to make that choice, and facing the unknown with a hopeful attitude, knowing that God's going to provide to customers and provide for this new employee, and really just be able to be a blessing for him and his family, and hopefully, I really think it's going to work out. Some info about him. He's like one of those kids that has been mowing yards. I think he said 4 years or 5 years. He's just been mowing yards as like a young dude trying to make some cash. And there's a lot of things that really got my I guess attention, and just like his personality. And that's the other end of it. It's like trying to make sure that there's at least some sort of like can stand his energy, because and I don't know if that's like a rude thing to say, but like working together. I mean, you spend a lot of time with people that you work with, and it'd be nice to make sure that the energies all kind of mesh, and make a good environment for just well-being and like mental health, and not doing anything obvious where it's just causing a bunch of drama, unnecessary drama and conflict. But like so that's kind of going on. We got the chickens going on. I got to start to get the I don't know, their outside pen area figured out better. They're upstairs in my house now in I think it's a 75-gallon like reptile tank, and they got like heat lamps on them and everything, but they're starting to get their feathers, and so I guess, I've never done chickens or any of that shit before. It's kind of like a surprise, thinking, my thought about the chickens was it'd be great for the cafe to get basically like virtually free fresh eggs come to find out that in my state there's an egg board. There's people in some like taxpayer position like in the egg board, which I don't know. Maybe shouldn't be laughing if somebody from that is listening, but like it's just kind of weird to me. But like I guess it's just something to keep people safe from people recklessly having eggs, I guess. And so and so I guess there's like some hoops to kind of go through when it comes to that, and so we'll see what happens. But I'm looking forward. We also have a turkey, which I don't know if that's going to even be on the table on Thanksgiving, because that's what the thought was, is that we get a turkey. But I don't know. My wife and my stepdaughter are getting pretty. It feels like attached to it, and it's just only it's only this big. I mean, it's barely different than a chicken at this point. It's a little louder and a little bit more aggressive, but we'll see how that goes. And so a bunch of new things going on. My wife, I guess, got some information about like the place we've been looking at as far as where the cafe potentially could be, and so that's starting to come together. I kind of in a lot of ways have my hands off the wheel and just really letting my wife's imagination do its thing, and letting her make more decisions when it comes to the cafe and what's on the menu and stuff. She's been making a lot of smoothies, and we've been trying things out. So there's been that, and so it's very a lot of shit going on at the moment. So it's like it's hard for me to respond to you guys' comments or messages or emails or any of these types of things, because it's unreal the amount of things at the moment that are wanting some sort of attention from me. It's weird, and it's frustrating, especially when I'm like a job, because my phone is just like every 15 minutes it feels like just ringing, and then messages and text messages and email, and it's just like overwhelming amount of stuff going on, and trying to keep positive about that and not like dwelling on it, because I found like a lot of times when you start dwelling on these things that are like kind of annoying, they have a tendency to start to amplify. and so really keeping kind of reminding myself as things start to escalate and things get more complex and more demanding and whatnot, to remember it's only ever now, and just to enjoy the flow, stay in flow, during all these things, and ultimately keep choosing love instead of reacting out of fear. And in that love, expressing, creating, what would be ideal, what would be an awesome situation, would be a benefit for others in the community. And, keeping that as the focus is so much easier to stay at peace versus, if you're just focused on yourself. It's easy to get caught up in your dramas and your doubts and your fears and the what coulda shouldas, and like and not to sit because there's a little bit of drama that kind of went with the hiring that new dude for my job or for my business. A lot of I feel like I should have been more prepared in the interview, because like I was working and I just did it over the phone. A lot of it was because of like his grandparents like pitch to me when we were talking and stuff like that it just like really seemed like a decent choice. And so and so I was kind of with that kind of mindset, and it's kind of weird having to wear all these different hats all the time. And on one hand doing handyman jobs and talking with customers, but then at the other end doing the Facebook shit, all wearing all these different hats. And then so it's kind of weird like identity wise to because I try to stay the same. Try to just like to stay pretty baseline, I guess, or stable. Maybe it's stable is maybe the best way to describe it. But then at the same time, like I've never interviewed anybody for like working for me before like that. Most of the time it's just been like family, my stepkids and like sometimes their friend, just the neighbor kid and stuff like that, and so it's all facing the unknown for me. And so, sharing that with others just so they can see that, hey, this is an option. This is something I could do too if I wanted to, because anything I'm doing, you guys can do. And that should be almost a blessing to know that that's the case with everybody. Everybody that you see on the outside of you, they're just really expressing a state of consciousness, including, I'm expressing a state of consciousness. I might not know what that is for you, but a lot of times we just are mirroring different aspects of things to each other, and with that, keeping that kind of mentality, keeping focused on the faith end of things, instead of the alternative is sometimes when you're getting to these different experiences, doing new things, and it's like starting to feel overwhelming and almost like scary or something like that, tense, kind of like, did I make the right, doubt, you're in doubt zone a little bit, doubt zone, fear zone, still kind of the same zone, listening to the wrong inner guide, and listening to fear ultimately is maybe the easiest way to label that. But then also, looking towards faith of like, okay, what would Jesus do in this situation? If everything is something to steward, now something just got added, because a lot of times the old man thinks that to gain things is to gain it externally first, to experience a feeling, but it's opposite. It's like you embody a state first, and then it starts to ripple out. It just does. I mean, that's something you just learn through doing over and over again. How it starts in your mind. It starts inside first, and then it's almost a predictable pattern in a lot of ways as you first have the vision. Like in skateboarding is a good example. It's like the first time you're getting ready to do a trick off of something that's like borderline scary, and it's like you feel a confidence that you can do it. It's not beyond your ability, but it feels possibly sketchy, possibly a little bit of like butterflies feeling, but then you do it, and a lot of times the faster that you get it in your mind, because like with skateboarding, it's like you don't land every single trick the first time. Maybe some people, I didn't do that. It was a lot of trying and falling and like getting up and doing it over and over again. And so that might just be one of the, maybe a pattern that I need to look at, because I noticed that kind of painful repetitious cycle, like repeating, with like some of the drama that predictably starts to happen. And so I'm not saying that it needs to have this like this resistance. This is just how I'm experiencing it now, and I'm still growing and learning. Obviously, I'd like to do it without the resistance and just have things be easy and effortlessly just flowing together without any fear. And it's just like, oh, this is unbelievable how easy and everything's. That'd be nice for a change. And that's what I'm like kind of shooting for. As like I continue to kind of develop that mindset, develop strong habits that are beneficial and healing in nature, instead of disempowering and probably toxic. Not to say that everything I do is like, look at me on this pedestal or anything. Do what feels good to you to do, and ultimately don't really depend on people out here to motivate and inspire and teach you something that God can teach you internally if you go within and start working on that relationship, which might be hard to hear, if you're just like, what is he talking about? But like, once you really start going through a lot of like the thoughts becoming things, rabbit hole with the law of attraction, the law of assumption, or the cause and effect. There's so many different ways to describe. A lot of these are biblical concepts anyway, but just repackaged and retermed in different vocabulary, and it doesn't really seem to matter. It doesn't. It doesn't seem like God's just sitting up there in the clouds, just angry, just waiting for you to fuck up. A lot of times that's how it feels like in the old man. But as you start to experience more oneness, as you start really seeing how everything's kind of connected, how your faith, your assumptions, your beliefs, all these things internally are really just externally just being projected out, and this orchestration that sometimes it's hard to catch until you start looking backwards. You start connecting these dots, looking backwards, as maybe, especially when you're going in a creation mode, when you're like trying to start a business or you're doing maybe some creative art thing, any type of thing where you have this inner vision that all of a sudden, through, persistence and just like kind of embodying that, I'm already, this is going to work. That kind of mentality, this is going to happen. And by facing these different, ultimately, fears that start to present themselves, that's really the only thing keeping you from, that next level, is that layer of fear holding you down that comes up as you become more still and you expand that first thought of like, oh, well, what if fill in the blank, or, oh, that sounds good, but that's not for me, that's for somebody else. That sounds good, but whatever follows that. It's that kind of just that nagging critic in your mind at times that's just whispering doubts and fears and all this shit, all this woulda, coulda, shouldas and whatnot. Really getting into flow is a lot of just letting go of that and just really just becoming more and more I want to say allow. When you say allowing, it sounds it's triggering at times. But it's like when you're just like really trusting that, God's got it figured out. I don't got to sit here and figure it out. Everything is kind of reflecting things anyway. And so if I see these reoccurring patterns, really what I want is peace. Really what I want is to feel safe and to feel good and not to feel, fear and stressed and triggered. And when you make feeling good or just staying at peace kind of your goal for the present, for right now, whatever's going on, we can tackle these things as they come, but not to sit there and dwell on them and not to spend all day spinning out and feeling like shit and all this kind of stuff. Looking at things as getting better and better each day instead of worse and worse, focusing on things to be grateful and thankful for. All these are types of techniques to start to elevate your state of being. The easiest way is to basically turn off the noise and start focusing on your breathing and just breathe in and out and just whatever's going on, just breathing in and out starts to naturally, our state of awareness and being floats, if you want to think of it like that. The more that you're just focusing on your breathing, you're out of your mind. You're not in arguing in thought land. But by focusing on your breathing, then you're getting more and more present. As you become more and more present, your joy level, that inner light or whatever, it just naturally floats. So you just start to naturally feel better. The more you're able to be still and calm and focus on the present moment. And then, ask God how to do it. Go within, ask, believe, receive. You'll be shown through like synchronicity, through people, events, circumstances. Everything externally can be used to convey some sort of a meaning to you, and there is no accident or coincidence. So, really keeping that in mind too is a good way to stay at peace and to take the expanding process, maybe moving more things around and stuff, and not looking at that as, oh, that's going to make you happy. Really embody that you have already made it. You're already blessed. It's already been done. It is that way. Everything else will start to, through miraculous ways, different, who knows how it's all. I didn't know I was going to do handyman work. If you want the truth, it just started to flow together like that. And so, just be open to things and at the same time, try to enjoy the process. It's not about the destination as much as the journey and the destination being together. Start enjoying the ride, not just looking to this payoff in the future of like you made it moment. And then now everything is whatever. So just make the future now. Just embody that now. That's the who you are. You're new, and you're not fear. And so embody that newness, embody that wholeness, and keep that in your mind and in your decisions when things are coming up, because you could have it awesome over on one aspect of your life. If you look at everything outside of you as reflective of an inner state, maybe your money game is high, and like so your abundance and your prosperity, energy is say a 10, or a 9 out of 10. But then your personal relationships and maybe your relationships with others is like a 2 or a 1. Trying to get all these things balanced, or your health, you've been working so hard, you're just stressed and weak, and you're giving yourself ulcers because you're just freaked out all the time and just putting out all these fires and drama, and then you get health concerns going on, your immune system, you're getting sick, maybe that's down at like a 2. All these things, just trying to get more and more balanced and whole and complete now, and just holding on to that energy, and being at peace and enjoying the ride. And so I just wanted to share that. That's kind of where I'm at the moment. Continuing on, I'll kind of give you guys an update as things continue to progress. I've got a lot of jobs going on. I need to, I'd probably like to update, some more. Right now I'm working on getting some doorknobs put on these old doors. It's crazy how these mechanisms. I've seen it before. Like the front door I'm working on has like it's like chiseled out, and it's got like the square box in it, and that's how the doorknob is in some of these old doors, really old doors, and it's like a really old deadbolt in it, and so I have to kind of finagle a new system in there because everything's not lining up right. And yeah, it's been kind of a headache. I was hoping to be done with it by now and have them painted, but that'll be for Monday. And then I got to basically turn their straight deck, and that's a ramp, into like an L-shaped deck. I'm going to try to reuse a lot of the wood and building materials that are there. And then, then it's on to a checklist item. I got a guy, he has like some canopy or something. He said there's a million pieces to it, and I can't get it put together. And so there's that, and then my dad, he wants me to power wash his deck and stain it, and then I could go on Monday, and one of my best customers actually, he's got a leaky toilet, and he's got a little checklist he wants to talk to me about. It's supposed to go measure. There's a bunch of crap going on at the moment. Thankful. I should be more thankful. I got lots of jobs and lots of opportunities, and stuff like that have trickled in and everything. And so hopefully continue to update you guys on that front and let you know how the cafe is coming, because I want to also show kind of how to flip money so that you can start to do these things and not have these excuses. When all things are possible, you can be, do, or have anything if you're doing it with God and faith and just really just believing the promises of God are true. And the sky's the limit to what you can do. Live the life that God created you to live. And so I encourage you guys to do that, and to be a blessing to your community and to your family and to the people that know you and everything else. And so, with that being said, I think I'm going to bounce. So thanks again for listening, everybody, and have a good rest of your now, and God bless.